Good day, Junior Techies. I'm Mrs. Brimacone. We are going to look at Cost Accounting Activity 4. Break-even point and analysis. Music box manufacturers makes a single brand, record players and portable radios. The owner, Jolly Max, requested a cost analysis for the last 2 financial years and was presented with the following information below. Required. So we are going to look now at all of these questions. What is very important when you're completing the question, make sure that you use the correct brand. If you look at the information, they provided you with 2022, 2021, the figures for record players, and the same for the portable radios. Very important, if you look, all costs are per unit. Question 4.1. Do a calculation to prove that the break-even point for the record players in 2022 is correct. Remember what I mentioned earlier. This is another way of asking the break-even point. So they've given you the break-even point. You now need to prove, is that correct? So to calculate the break-even point, you have to first calculate the total fixed cost. Remember, all of this is in units. So we first need to find out what is the total fixed cost by taking fixed cost, 1,000 per unit, times the number of units. Then we can take the selling price per unit minus the variable cost per unit. This is called the contribution per unit. So now 800,000 divided by 1,400 means that my break-even point is 572. So we have proven that it is correct. Question 4.2. Comment on the break-even point and the level of production for both products. So if we first look at record players, the break-even point increased from 435 units in 2021 to 572 units in 2022. In other words, it increased by 137. You can also use percentage by taking 137 divided by 435. If we look at the units produced and sold, it remained the same at 800 units for both years. The profitability decreased from 365 units in 2021 to 228 units in 2022. So we can also say by 137, but then we now need to divide it by 365. So the percentage is 37.5%. A reminder, to get that, we need to take the difference between the units produced and sold and the break-even point. If we look at portable radios, the break-even point decreased from 7,500 in 2021 to 4,574 units in 2022. So this is by 2,926, a 39% decrease. The units produced and sold remained the same from 2021 to 2022 at 7,500 units, which means that the profitability increased from 0 units in 2021 to 2,926 in 2022. No profit or loss was made in 2021 compared to 2022 because the units produced and sold were exactly the same as the break-even units. In 2022, the business made a profit of 2,926 units. So if we get that total, we need to take the contribution per unit, which is the selling price minus the variable cost per unit, remember this is per unit, times the number of units produced more than the break-even point. Question 4.3. Jolie feels that she can produce and sell more portable radios. Calculate the number of extra portable radios she must produce and sell to make an additional profit of $800,000. Assume that the selling price for 2022 remains unchanged. Now, this is also another way in which they ask the break-even point. There are different ways in which we can get to the same answer. My method, we take the additional profit divided by the contribution per unit. That equals 279 units. You could have also taken the total fixed cost and add the additional profit divided by the break-even point. But then you need to take 4,852, which is your new break-even point, minus the previous break-even point, and the difference will provide you with the same answer. Now, because of rounding off, there is a difference between these two. Question 4.4. Jolie decided to increase the selling price of the portable radios in 2022. Calculate the percentage increase in the selling price. Provide a reason why the owner felt it's necessary to increase the selling price. So to calculate the percentage increase, we have to take 550 minus 400 divided by 400 times 100. That provides us with the percentage increase. Now, the reason could be no profit or loss in 2021. The break-even point and the number of units produced and sold were the same at 7,500 units. An increase in the selling price will invariably lead to a lower break-even point if cost stays the same. Identify one variable cost for the record players and one variable cost for the portable radios that were not well controlled. Provide figures. In each case, provide a solution or advice to the problem. So to approach this, remember now, that is normal for costs to increase from one year to another, especially because of inflation. So we need to go and look, but which cost percentage-wise increase by a lot. So if we look at direct material cost, it increased by 25%, which is a lot compared to the direct labor cost at 10%. The selling and distribution cost remained the same, 0% increase. This means that the cost that we can identify is the direct labor cost. To get that percentage, you take 750 minus 600 divided by 600 times 100. Advice or solution: look for cheaper suppliers, take advantage of bulk discounts, investigate wastage, and train staff. We're going to use the same approach when we look at portable radios. We need to work out the percentages, what increase stayed the same, was there a decrease? So if I look at the variable cost, it increased from 2021 to 2022. So if we now go look at direct labor cost, there was an increase of 7.1%. Direct labor cost, there was an increase of 23.6%. And with selling and distribution, there's an increase of 28.6%. So that is a lot, both for my direct labor cost and the selling and distribution cost. So the cost identified, we can say direct labor cost increased by 23.6%. Solution for that is control over time, train staff to be more efficient. Another option that we could also use, because both those percentages are very high, the selling and distribution cost increased by 29%. So your advice: give salesperson's commission, identify costs and monitor the use, reduce advertising. These are just some advice or solutions to that. Thank you very much. Next, we're going to look at activity 5. I want to leave you with this quote. Focus on your goal. Don't look any direction but ahead. Have a wonderful day.